We are deploying the National Guard to provide vaccination support, starting this weekend with Salem Health's vaccination event at the state fairgrounds.
Good evening. First at 6:30, Oregon Governor Kate Brown calls in reinforcements to speed up vaccinations against the coronavirus. The move comes as the state admits only 24% of the vaccine sent to the state has been used. KGW's Pat Doris reports.
Just 3 days after the director of the Oregon Health Authority said the National Guard would not be used to help with the COVID vaccines, Oregon Governor Kate Brown said they will indeed.
Our Guard members will be providing logistical and nursing support. The goal is to vaccinate 250 people per hour, vaccinating thousands of Oregonians.
Salem Health is already giving COVID shots at the state fairgrounds and plans to have a large vaccination event this weekend, according to the governor. The National Guard will set up tents nearby and be ready Tuesday to start giving shots. We've already seen the Guard called into action to move respirators and prepare field hospitals for COVID patients that fortunately were not needed. The new orders call up 100 medics along with 30 doctors and physician assistants who will staff the fairgrounds, according to a military spokesman. The Guard will also deploy 5 mobile teams that will travel the state giving shots. Oregon Health Authority Director Patrick Allen today said the state has received roughly 250,000 doses of the COVID vaccine and used 73,000.
OHA has delivered vaccine doses to 190 sites across the state already. We'll allocate vaccine doses to an additional 30 sites next week, including hospitals, local public health agencies, federally qualified health centers and rural health clinics, urgent care clinics, retail pharmacies, and emergency response agencies.
The OHA does not actually deliver the vaccines, but tells the companies where to send the doses and how many to send. When it comes to schools, roughly 50,000 students are getting some form of in-person teaching, according to Department of Education Director Colt Gill. Many school districts, though, are waiting to decide on reopening until January 19th. That's when the state may issue new health metrics to guide the districts. Governor Brown now allows school districts to make their own decisions about reopening, but the state wants schools to be careful.
Oregon has comprehensive and thoughtful guidance that outlines 164 different health and safety protocols that must be in place to serve students in person. These requirements remain mandatory.
Also today, the governor conceded that teachers will get COVID shots before seniors who are 75 and older and living independently. That runs counter to CDC guidance. The governor said it's a hard choice, but it's that important to get kids back into the classroom. In Northeast Portland, Pat Doris, KGW News.
Now, in order to get a COVID shot at the Oregon State Fairgrounds, you must live or work in Marion County, and you must be part of the Phase 1A vaccine group, which includes healthcare and long-term care facility workers. Providence caregivers in Oregon are stepping up to help respond to Southern California's surge in COVID-19 cases. Ryan Hutchinson is the director of diagnostic imaging at Providence in Medford. He's in Apple Valley, California right now, helping a sister hospital with logistics like unloading freight, making deliveries, and moving patients. The facility has 212 beds, but more than 280 patients, and over half of them are COVID positive. He didn't hesitate to volunteer.
I don't know what their positivity rates are here, but the number of people coming through that are COVID positive is just amazing. And the number of caregivers who've actually self-admitted that they've been positive over the last few weeks has been pretty high. And, and I feel at our hospital, it's been mild.
About 50 other Providence employees have also volunteered to help in California as well. Ryan will work one more shift tomorrow before coming home. 2 Oregon men have been arrested and charged with multiple federal crimes after the government says they fraudulently applied for loans from the COVID CARES Act. Federal agents arrested 50-year-old Andrew Lloyd of Lebanon and 38-year-old Russell Short of Myrtle Creek this week. Between April and May, prosecutors said the pair applied for 3 PPP loan payments worth more than $2.2 million. In court documents, they allege Lloyd transferred $1.8 million to a brokerage account and then invested it. Over time, that money grew to over $11 million. When applying for the loans, the government says the pair used similar information on all 3 applications. A government watchdog group in Washington, D.C. says That should have been a red flag.
Clearly, those red flags didn't go off, and if they did, they weren't heeded. So this is something that should have been stopped before they got at least a second and third loan, but it didn't happen. And so here we are. Here we have law enforcement months after the fact playing catch up.
Lloyd is also being sued by E-Trade Bank for the money he took out as a line of credit. Portland police finally caught the man who escaped from his holding cell nearly a week ago. They found David Dahlin inside this car at Lentz Park early this morning. You can see it has damage. Officers say Dahlin tried to get away, but U.S. Marshals followed the car. They set up spike strips and he crashed into that power pole there. Dahlin is now back in custody. He escaped over the weekend when a cleaning crew didn't fully latch the door of his holding cell at the Justice Center. He faces attempted murder charges after he allegedly hit an officer with a pickup truck on Christmas Eve. Friends of a man shot and killed by Tigard police this week want answers as to why he had to die. Police at the same time are pleading with people to be patient while an independent investigation plays out. All the while, protests are boiling over in a community that thought this kind of outrage was reserved for bigger cities like Portland. Here's Maggie Vespa.
He has been very sick for a long time and has manic episodes.
Friends of Jacob McDuff knew he was struggling and feared for his welfare. But this was beyond their worst nightmares.
I've known him for 2 years, and in his mind, I was the only person who loved him.
Tigard police confirm an officer with the department shot and killed the 26-year-old Wednesday. Police had been called to McDuff's apartment complex on a domestic disturbance. The Oregonian reporting dispatch audio indicates police were warned callers had concerns about McDuff's mental health. In a news release, police said McDuff had a knife and resisted arrest. During a struggle, an officer shot him. Police aren't releasing more details right now. Friday, a memorial sat in front of his complex near Southwest Hall Boulevard and Bonita Road. A search of McDuff's background shows no criminal record. Neighbors told us police had been called to his apartment 5 times in the 2 days leading up to the shooting, all for mental health concerns. Police wouldn't confirm that detail. Wednesday, officers were on scene around 4 p.m. Neighbors said police were there for several minutes before they heard shots.
I stay put in my house. I don't want to get out.
You heard the gunshots?
Yes.
How many?
Maybe I just hear like 3 times.
The Washington County Major Crimes Team, which is separate from Tigard PD, is investigating the shooting. They have not yet named the officer who killed McDuff. We're told that's all standard protocol. Still, police know anger at their profession is historically high. Thursday night, protests erupted in Tigard. People smashed windows at police headquarters and businesses downtown. Friday, police said 10 to 20 businesses sustained damage. At a news conference, while crews boarded up windows behind her, the chief denounced the vandalism and urged people to let the investigation play out.
I'm not trying to skirt that. I understand people want answers. However, and it's frustrating for me as a leader of an organization to not be able to give those answers in a timely, but there is a process. There is a transparency. When I say transparency, it's not rushed to give information I don't even have.
Police expect more protests Friday night. Tigard residents who came to see McDuff's memorial are blown away by this.
Because we've been hearing about the stuff down in Portland, but to see it this close, it really it brings a new level of how real this is.
Maggie Vespa, KGW News.
We have newly released video that shows a Republican state representative. Watch this. Mike Neerman, he opens that door at the Oregon Capitol to armed, violent protesters last month. This happened during the special session, and you can see him leave the building. Then someone from the crowd runs in and grabs the second door before it locks and then holds the door open. About 30 seconds later, Oregon State troopers rush in and scuffle with the group as the troopers try to push them back outside. Oregon State Police are investigating Representative Neerman. He could face legal charges and punishment from the legislature. Now to the riots at the U.S. Capitol this week. Police and federal agents are ramping up their investigation into who's responsible. One of the men seen as the face of the attack was arrested this afternoon. Richard Barnett, you see him here. He's the man pictured with his feet up on the desk of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. He's now in custody. Dozens have been arrested. At least 55 face federal charges. The FBI is searching for those responsible for leaving pipe bombs discovered near the Capitol. They also want to know if sensitive national security information may have been stolen from congressional offices. Twitter permanently suspended President Trump's personal account today. The president had tweeted earlier that he would not attend Joe Biden's inauguration. Twitter said in a statement that after a review, it found there was a risk of further incitement of violence, and people were interpreting that tweet as evidence that the election was illegitimate. Twitter temporarily suspended the real Donald Trump account Wednesday and had warned then that further violation of the rules would land him a permanent suspension.